Right.
Hey everybody, and welcome to another episode of Where Are They Now? We are here this evening with a cast of Hair. Woo! So happy to see you. All right, who can remember what season you were in, cast of Hair?
2015.
See,
Eight,
oh, you're
nine,
close, Mary.
seven,
Close.
seven,
Close.
seven,
Close.
six.
So you are the midway point. We are just about to open season 12 of Playhouse on Park, and we are grateful to shows like yours that put us on the map. We are so thrilled to have you here. So in my preparation today, getting ready, I thought, well, I should take a shower. And then I started shaving, and I shaved my armpits, and I shaved one leg, and I'm like, shit, why am I shaving? So in your honor, y'all, I left one leg unshaven. So there you go. You got that right. So for anybody watching that doesn't know why I'm saying this, we were pretty hairy during that time, I might say, in all places.
I don't think it was a demand. I think
it was.
I think it was a suggestion that I made, and then the choice, right?
I think
it was in the contract.
Yeah, it was in the contract.
Yes,
No, that was in the contract. That was not a suggestion.
the integrity of the show.
No.
Demanded. I mean,
Yes, Mary.
I remember.
Go, Mary.
I asked Darlene for clarification, and it was that everything below the waist had to be grown out.
Yes.
And I strongly encourage my fellow lady castmates to go all in.
And it was amazing. It was amazing because there's nothing worse than not being true to the time. So had you disrobed and it not been there, this would not have been good.
And honestly, being in quarantine, it's been a very similar situation.
Oh, there you go. Exactly. Like I said, I shaved for you, but I probably didn't need to.
I could show you my armpits, but you said
oh my
don't
God.
do it.
So ladies and gentlemen,
Is it
I'm
now?
going to go around the horn and let you all introduce yourselves. I would love you to tell us a couple of things. And if you can't remember them, I'll prompt you. Who you are, who you played, what other shows, if you have been in anything else at the Playhouse, and where you are hunkering down during this crazy our lives. So I neglected to introduce my crazy partner, Shawn Harris, and I say crazy because hair time was crazy. And y'all notice Shawn has much less hair now.
I do.
Shave that baby off. It's a lot of fun. All right, so I'm gonna go right around, and if I miss anybody, somebody let me know. Tara, you are on.
Hi. I am Tara Novi. I played Sheila. That was the only show I did at the Playhouse to date, right? Yeah. And I am in Brooklyn, New York. This is where I live now. Woo!
Fantastic. All right, Dalton.
Hello, I'm Dalton Burtalone. I was in The Tribe. It was my only show, but then I worked in the box office as I finished college, so I was there for a couple years. And I'm in Santa Rosa, California, just waiting.
Wow. Are you in Fire area?
It is close by, but it is not right here. But
And what is your air quality like, just may I ask?
Don't go outside is what it
Wow. I mean, we've got it as far east as here in Connecticut. They were telling us today that it's here. So please be careful.
Oh, please be careful.
That's wild. Kelsey.
Hi everybody. It's so nice to see everyone's faces. I was in The Tribe and I understudied Sheila, and that was my only show at the Playhouse, but I was an avid supporter all throughout college. we love. And I live in Los Angeles now.
Amazing.
And the same thing with you. So I have a bunch of friends in LA, and they haven't talked about it, being down there. I'm not sure. Where's Santa Clara, Dalton?
like kind of in the middle between me and Kelsey.
Yeah, our air quality is pretty shit down here though too. This is like the first time I've seen a little bit of blue in like a week.
Wow. I mean, talk about a crazy perfect storm. You have to go through COVID and this ridiculous air quality. Your lungs, I'm just terrified of what's going to happen to y'all. So please wear that mask and stay safe. Ryan.
Hi.
Hugs.
Ryan Connolly. I played Burger. Sadly, it's been my only show at Playhouse on Park thus far. but you never know what the future holds.
Never know.
And I used to live only blocks away from my Sheila, but I actually moved out of Brooklyn this past January before going abroad. And now, because of the pandemic, I am home sweet home with my mom in New Jersey, in Livingston, New Jersey, which is just 20 miles west of New York City.
Oh, fantastic. Hi, Mom.
Hey, Mom.
She's
Mom's
serving in her bed, in her pajamas. Yeah.
As she should be. Mary.
Hi, I'm Mary. I was in the Tribe, and so far it's my only show at Playhouse, but I've done some Mayor Charity Ball stuff, and I saw as many shows as I could in school. But I was in New York City, and I'm currently spending the month of September with my family in Minnesota, helping my sister out with her children. So,
Oh, wow. You're an aunt?
I'm an aunt to two very crazy, smart boys. It's a bad combination.
I smell trouble.
Yeah.
Mhm. Keep your guard up. Emily.
Hi, I'm Emily Jones. I was also in the musical adventures of Flat Stanley last year. I was in the Tribe. That was the first question. And I'm in Los Angeles right now.
Did you move out there?
I did last year.
Oh, wow. I did not know that.
After Flat Stanley? I don't remember. So I guess
It was like 3 months after Flat Stanley. Yeah.
cool.
Wow. Did you like flatten yourself, put yourself in an envelope, and then just head on out?
It was that. It was, I wish it was that easy. It was a little more complicated, but we made it. So we're
All
good.
right, you're there. I'm so happy for you. All right, Michael and Jesse.
After you.
Oh, okay. Hi, I'm Jessie. Jess Macbeth, and I played Jeannie. And I actually was in Richard Scarry's Busy Town right before Hair. It was, I think it was earlier in the season, actually.
Might have been, yeah.
And I played Lonely Worm and Mom Cat. It was very fun. Playing a worm was amazing. No, I wasn't the worm. I was nurse. Never mind.
Yes.
So
Nurse.
I was a nurse. I did a song with Lily Worm. It was very fun. And yeah, and right now we are in Jersey City.
Yes.
Yep. Yeah.
And I'm Michael Jane Walker, and I played Claude, and that was my only show at Playhouse.
And so you guys, is this your apartment in Jersey? I mean, this is, are you staying there temporarily, or you're permanently?
Oh, like this is where we live.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is our apartment.
Nice.
Fantastic. Peach.
Hi, I'm Paige Mealy. I was in the Tribe, and I understudied Woof, which is a good thing because a couple years ago I did another production of Hair as Woof, and I didn't have to do much work for it, which was terrific. And I'm normally down in Manhattan, but this week I'm up with my parents in Rochester. And just like Jesse, right before Hair, I did a kids show with you all. It was Freckle-Faced Strawberry, I think. So big change of gears.
Absolutely. I'm sorry.
Fun fact about Paige. Paige is my wife's favorite actor of the Playhouse on Park of all time. And she constantly asks me about Paige.
Oh my God, I love it.
She was listening just now. She wanted to know what Paige is up to.
Favorite actor. Wow, Peach.
Peach. You got the fan club going. Love
Certainly
it.
one of the most prolific there.
Absolutely. We've lost count of how many shows he's been in.
A good handful.
A couple of handfuls, maybe. Maybe some toes. All right, Mallory.
Hi, everybody. This is Mallory Cunningham. Let's see. I was in the Tribe, and I made everybody do planks and push-ups and stuff. And also in a chorus line, and Mama D's, and Stop Time Dance Theater, and taught a couple of summers there as well.
Oh my God, that's right.
Yeah, and I am in good old Branson, Missouri, here in my apartment.
Hopefully keeping that COVID under control.
Yeah, how many years have you been out there now, Mallory?
This is my third year.
Third year. Cool.
Do you think will this be home sweet home?
Oh, I think for now, while I do this job, and otherwise, don't know where home will be.
I didn't know if you fell in love with it and said, I don't care what I'm doing, I'm staying here.
No.
Not yet. Okay. All right, Colin.
Hi, Colin Britt. I was one of the co-music directors, and just like in the rehearsal process, I was late tonight. Remember, I was gone for the first week, I think, of rehearsals.
We haven't given you.
And I actually, we lived in Jersey City for 5 years, and somehow never ran into Michael and Jesse, but we just bought a house this summer. In Bound Brook, New Jersey. So that's where we've been hunkering down, although school has started in hybrid, so I wouldn't call it quarantine anymore.
A crazy time. All right, Emmett, you and that beautiful baby.
I'm Emmett. I was also the co-music director with Colin, and I did several other shows at Playhouse over the years. I live in West Hartford, and this is my baby who is trying to escape her crawling away. There she is.
Look at that hair.
Oh my God.
This is Clara. Yeah, she has more hair than me already.
Oh my God.
And, she's only 6 months old, so.
Emmett, what's her name? You said Clara?
Clara, Clara.
Oh.
So.
That's
like
I'm a big
Clara
fan.
Schumann.
Big fan. Yeah, it's actually Colin. That's embarrassingly, that's sort of who she was named after.
Oh,
But,
that's great.
I'm not.
We're all nerds, and it's fine.
Yeah.
It's cool.
I approve.
All right. Well, thank you all. This is fantastic. Emmett, I know you might have to pop off at some time, but please stay as long as you can. We would love to have you here. Thanks, everybody. That was so lovely to hear where you're all hunkering down. I know COVID has been a crazy time for all of us, but we want to reflect back to a better time, and that was the summer of 2016 when we were
2015.
15?
Yeah.
Oh, it was 15? I'm mad at that, I guess. All right, so the summer, oh, you would know, Shawn. So maybe, Shawn, you want to start off a little bit about maybe your fondest memory of this process, or any part of the hair.
I mean, there's so many. I think about this. It was actually my 40th birthday happened during this rehearsal. I mean, like, there was so many things that happened. My 40th birthday, obviously I was in the middle of a divorce or right after divorce. So like, it was just a crazy time. I'm so glad you guys were all there, pretty much. I want to say that. But I think, I think there's so many things. So I love the pre-show. I love the drum circle that Colin put together with the pit. I want to take a moment before we kind of get started to kind of have a moment for Heather Kolsava and her and Gus. You know, Heather died this year. Recently, Gus was very sick, and they were big. They came to see the show, I believe, 6 times. And Tara and I saw them in New York, and, you know, they came to see a show that I was in, and they were such big hair supporters. And I think that's part of, like, my favorite memory is seeing these fans of the show come back time and time and time again. I mean, they were from Union, New Jersey, and they drove up 6 times. And, you know, and it was such an important part of her life. And I wanted definitely to acknowledge that, because she passed away a couple months ago now.
Yeah, if I may, they went down to see a production in Florida. I was doing my next show right after here in Sarasota, and they came to see that show that I was in, even though they were down to see, and seeing Hair every night, they came and saw my show there, and just 2 of the best people.
That's amazing. Wow.
Did I say, I'm so sorry, Tara, I meant Guy and Heather. I apologize. I used to have a friend named Gus who was married to Heather, a Heather. So that's where I always go on that one. Guy, yeah, Guy who is doing okay, I think. We chatted a little bit. He's hanging in there.
Cool. All right, I'm going to kind of go backwards this time. So Mal, I'm going to jump to you first, and if you can give us any fun moment you remember, not necessarily fun, if you want to go crazy.
Gosh, I have a lot of moments that I remember. Honestly, I left during our like warm up before the show every day, and that was a real just bonding experience that way. Yeah.
I think
I have too many, so I'll stick with that one.
I think we got help. Yeah, I think you and I challenged each other like to go longer with the planks, and like by the end of the summer, it was like 4.5 minutes or something insane.
I think so.
Oh my God. I love it. That's amazing. Oh, and Mal, by the way, can you see what I'm wearing on my wrist? Can you see it? No, these cameras are terrible.
That's so weird. Oh, yay!
You made those for us.
I love it.
Thank you so much. You're such a sweetie. All right, Colin, what was your memory? You know, those days that you actually showed up.
Well, yeah, yeah. I mean, it was actually kind of a hard summer for me in a lot of ways. But like I just remembered the escape that we all got together in this show, and we could just lose ourselves in that world, and especially with the pre-show and sort of the summer of love kind of like environment that we had. But I think I remembered watching during the dress rehearsals, just marveling at everyone's intensity. It was I feel like it was the most just consistently like pedal to the metal kind of a summer, like just vocally, physically, emotionally. The way that you guys ended that show every night, it was like I was always emotional at the end. And it was, you know, like sometimes when you do something over and over again, you kind of have like a little bit of a, oh, but then like you get past it. And I just remember every night it felt like that. So it was so inspiring to see that level of commitment from all of you.
I agree. That was a tremendous ending. Go ahead, Colin.
And then the other thing was I loved messing with the band. Nick and I would like try to like trick each other. It's like not in a way that was unprofessional, but just like the things that you can do when you've been doing a show for 6 weeks. That was a lot of fun.
Colin brings up a great point. You know, I think one of the things that was so special about this is because I think everybody, all 17 or whatever of you, never gave less than 110% from the moment we started to the end. And because you don't leave the stage often, it was such a communal energy that then the entire space was rocking for like 2+ hours. You know, it wasn't just like, oh, there's some musical numbers and then everybody's kind of into it and then they lull down. There was no escape. And what Colin was saying is like, it was just an adrenaline shot, you know?
There was also no choice. I mean, Mama D made it clear on day one that we were going to work our ass off whether we wanted to or not, and we did.
And luckily in the end, I think you wanted to.
For sure, no,
absolutely.
All a means to an end, for sure. But I think, yeah, it was just.
Yeah, the process for me was.
No choice but to get on board or get off the train. You know?
I love it. Yeah, just always know if you're doing a show with me, you're working out that first day. So come prepared. Wear those sweats.
Wear your first day clothes.
Yes, the first day outfit. Sorry, I just remember Ryan. He was so intense about that first day outfit.
Now you know.
Not a Playhouse on Park. Wear your sweats.
Yes. Day one. All right, Peach.
Well, first of all, when the show opened, I joined West Hartford Yoga and got that unlimited package. And I was doing yoga like 3 times a day. And then Mal would do the 4-minute plank. I was in the best shape of my life during that show. That was great. But then too, that was the first show I got to play a grown-up in my career. I've always played like animals and babies. And so thank you for giving me my first adult opportunity. But like Shawn really encouraged, like every night, use how you're feeling, be really honest. And it was such a cool space. You could like every night just stretch in a different direction with it. I love just like the honesty that you let us have during the show. And then like act 1 finale, it was Mary and I, we were locking eyes, just taking our tops off. And it was like, we're doing this, man. There was like a determination that I loved. Every day was a challenge and it was exciting and it was exhilarating. And that was one of my favorite bits of that blocking, that we just like, we kept consistent every night.
Oh,
thanks.
I love that when the cast has moments and they're unforgettable.
Peach and I would always lock eyes, and I think I remember Peach saying at one point, like, I'm like never gonna forget to do this because it'll ruin the whole show if I don't.
I loved it. It was a challenge. It was a dare. It was like everyone in the pool, come on.
Beautiful. Ryan.
Oof. I mean, every time this show comes up, I still say that it's one of the most, if not the most fulfilling creative experience I've ever had. Despite all the other great things I've gotten to do in my career, I don't think I've ever been in a show where I felt more free and more trusted and safe to play, and just it had been a long time since I had been given that kind of opportunity. I actually haven't been given that opportunity since. So it holds a special place for me, because especially the time of my life. I mean, it was obviously apparent that I was quite older than everybody else, being 37 at the time. And it was a weird balancing act to be in such a young show at such an older age. But also it came at the exact right time in my life. I have nothing but the greatest, happiest memories. I think it's the last, I don't want to say it's the last time I was that happy, but because that's a terribly misleading and depressing thing to say, but it was just, I just remember being euphoric the entire 3 months. It was just, I couldn't wait to wake up and be on the stage. And it wasn't just that, I mean, I remember the chemistry of the cast, like specifically with Michael and with Tara, as you know, my partners in crime, but literally there wasn't a single person on that stage that I couldn't look at and trust without knowing that they were going to be there. And whatever I threw at them, whatever was going to happen, that they were going to be, that I was on their team and they were on my team. And that's a really sort of magical space to be in and get to play and experience. So I am still forever grateful for these.
Oh, well, we're grateful for you. It was a beautiful show. And I know for myself, I can think back just to the atmosphere from the minute you walked into the first door outer lobby. There was just something about all of your spirits being in there. Like Shawn said, with the whole lobby thing and with the drum circle, there was such an intensity, and it was like hormones and pheromones and everything just spewing about. And you could literally feel that from the minute that show went through rehearsal until we closed. And I think it kind of resonated a little while after that as well. But it was really something. So y'all, amazing. Thank you. I mean, your spirits are going to haunt that theater for a long time, and I'm grateful for that. Kelsey.
Yeah, this show for me, it came kind of on like the precipice of a big life transition that I made, as I think it did for a lot of us. And I was aware of it at the time, and I knew I wasn't like, so content in New York, and I wanted a change, I thought. And it really was this show that made me, I left being like, wow, that's everything I love about theater. And there was nothing I would have changed about that experience. And I could do that show forever. And maybe I'll never go to like a Hello Dolly dance call ever again. Like, it was very much that, like, I left with such a high off of that show that I was just like, okay, like, I love musical theater and I'll always love musical theater, but there are only some shows that I truly want to be doing. And this was one of them. And I just,
well, because you clearly found your tribe. So here we were, all for you.
Quite.
Beautiful.
Yeah, so I mean, it's really difficult to pick one thing about it. Anytime we were all just jumping around on stage.
Which was a lot.
It was just the best. And also, I mean, truthfully, I think that there's so many life-changing things about it. I think getting naked on stage was a huge thing for me. I think it changed the way I feel about my body and the way that I feel about, my confidence in my body and different bodies. And it blew my mind wide open in a shit ton of ways. So I've cursed twice now on this. I know you said we could, Darlene, but I'm really running with it.
Carte blanche, go for it.
So yeah, I think that that's all I have to say about it, but it just was an absolutely life-changing show, and I would still do it again for an unlimited run if someone asked me to.
Thank you so much. Michael and Jesse, please tell us what we all want to hear.
I was literally 2 feet away from them at the beginning of that show.
Lucky.
And, like, I just remembered one night, like, standing there being like, I feel like I'm a voyeur. Like, I'm like...
Many doubts.
Please tell our audience.
Well, I mean, I just remember, like, the first day we were staging that number, Shawn was just like, and I really want to make it clear that, you know, Claude and Jeannie have a connection here. So, like, I don't know, you guys should, like, get close. Maybe you can kiss. And we just kind of, like, ran with that.
I've never had somebody take a note and then magnify that note to a degree of unstoppability.
Yeah, you ran a marathon with that one.
Oh, we were milking it.
Yeah, and we, I mean, we couldn't stop. We got married, so, you know.
Yeah, we just celebrated
happened.
2 years, guys. This
Yeah.
week.
Oh.
Yeah.
That is crazy.
Right?
Really
Wild.
crazy. Yeah. And now we have tattoos. We just got
It's true,
tattoos.
we got some tattoos.
Now it's like, now we can definitely not get divorced because you are literally but yeah, I've just been silently crying this entire time. I think Michael can attest.
Yeah, I mean, I've also been quite misty just thinking back to, it was a magical summer. And for me, Shawn will probably remember, like, my initial contact email for this was just like, hi, I really want to play Claude. I've heard great things about your theater. Let's do this. So it's really the only time in my professional career that I've asked for something and gotten exactly what I wanted. And it paid off in so many, I mean, obviously in so many life-changing ways for me. That show was a dream. Same with Kelsey, like I would play Claude in this production forever.
Yeah.
Thank you. Well, congratulations, you two. You're such a cute couple. I love following you on all the social media. Beautiful.
Oh, I was thinking the other day too, like one of my favorite things about the show is I remember I could not eat before the show, but I could always eat in intermission. So I'd like have a burger or something, or like pasta salad. And then I would go in for electric blues and then throw up like every single night. And just be like, why did I do this to myself every time? But
someday you'll learn, Jesse. Someday you'll learn.
I don't know. Michael can attest. It needs a lot of practice.
She still does stuff like that.
I just,
I guess it's the appeal. She's adorable. Thank you, guys. All right, Mary.
I wanted to start by saying that this show was the first time I ever got paid to be an actor, which was like so amazing, because I also I saw the tour of Hair when I was in high school, and I was like, if I was ever in a production of Hair, I would have no problem being naked. Like, I told that to all my friends in high school, obviously. So obviously I did love that part of the show every night, but I think one of my favorite moments, and I think about it with such regularity, and I don't know why, but the part of the show that will pop into my head all the time is Olu and I had from day one of rehearsals just a really strong connection to each other. We just loved each other instantly so hard, and he and I would look at each other and hold on to each other while we said, how dare they try to end this beauty, over and over. And he and I would both just cry and hug each other. And I actually saw him in June, totally randomly, at the Brooklyn March for Black Trans Lives. And he was one of the organizers for the protest. So it was just a whole, and he and I hugged, and it was we were just right back in that moment. Yeah, so that was probably one of my favorite things. And we did it every time.
Thank you for sharing that. I thought he was going to be on today, but we had this moment I forget when it was, when we were talking about our favorite moments at the theater ever. My favorite moment at the theater ever is the first time he went on. I mean, I've never experienced an energy like that in a theater space ever. It was it was so uncontrollable. There was so much emotion that was going on in that stage.
Yeah, you all were so supportive of what he had to do.
There was tears and joy, and it was this mixture of these insane emotional the theater couldn't hold the emotion that was on stage, and that's basically what happened. It was just insane. Never forget that moment for the rest of my life.
And to think I found him carrying a tree across the stage. That was the weirdest thing ever, but that's a whole other story.
That's a whole other story later. I'm glad you had that moment with him, and those lines, like that line, it kills you, especially now. I mean, forget it. It's like such one of those universal. There's so many of these universal lines in that show that you're like, you hear it now, and it just means something.
All right, Emily, you're on.
I'm emotional now. I feel like a lot of us are. So I was the youngest in the cast, and it's so funny. I feel like my friends always say there was pre-hair Emily and then there's post-hair Emily. Like I changed so much. I feel like I grew up in that show, and I like learned so much about like what being a woman is like, and fighting for the right things and what you believe in, and confidence in your body. Like same like Kelsey, I was terrified like to be like naked in front of people, and now I'm like, yeah, I'll do it again. Like it was just it's really hard for me to top this. I still talk about it like it happened yesterday. But I guess if I had one memory, I remember the show would end and we would all be like, we'd cry every day. I mean, it was like such a release. And I think it was Ryan who went around to all of us and would do this. And and it was like just let it go. Like, you're here, you're fine, let it go. And it was like, yeah, we can't carry this with us, this burden of how heavy the show was at the end of it. But it was just like such a special, like you taught that to everyone. And I feel like I still think about it all the time. So, yeah.
Oh, thank you. That was lovely. Yeah. Dalton.
Hello. I just really loved the creative process because it truly was a creative process. We didn't get told like where to stand, where to go. We like as a group came up with what our tribe was going to do, and that is such a unique experience that so many shows are not like. And I just remember I was determined to, whenever we had freedom, somehow get like upside down in a tree or climb the playground. Like I wanted to just crawl and climb, and that was allowed and that was encouraged. And that kind of freedom of like us all creating our people, our tribe, was just really fun. I also will never forget getting thrown around during White Boys by she just threw me this way, that way, took my feet over there, and I was just like, let's do it. I love it.
I love it.
Yes. Shawn, remind me who designed our set. Why can't I remember?
It was
Damara.
Damara? She did the costumes.
She did the costumes.
I thought she did both for that. Wasn't she like the jack of all trades?
Oh,
yeah.
Did she design the set?
I love that set.
I think she did.
Wow. Yeah, because it was just, our whole thing was we want things we can hang on, jump on, play on, and she gave, if it's her. Come on, Dalton.
Sturdy. That set was heavy. It was awesome.
Oh, scenic and costume designer was the one.
Wow, I don't remember that.
I mean, amazing. And that was the part of it. It was going to be this broken down playground. This child's innocence, that was the idea behind it, kind of destroyed and disillusioned. And I remember Damara and I totally forgot about this. Like we went around and took photos of, I went where it started, Tompkins Square Park. Yeah, I was taking photos that. First, so we tried to get the swing set that was there, like kind of to look like that and everything. Yeah.
That was wild. Yeah, it was a fun set. I love anything that we can interact with.
I'll also never forget, because there was the kids camps during the day, and we had the trash can that we burnt our letters in that had the light and the fake fire. And during one of the kids camps, one of the kids thought it was a real trash can and went and dumped their pudding.
Oh, what?
And then we had it won't work. We were like, why isn't the...
probably didn't tell you.
Yeah.
Shawn, did you know this story?
I didn't at all.
Did not know.
It was handled.
I think there was a lot of things that were handled that we had no idea about.
Oh my God. I think there are a lot of things, period, that we didn't know whether they're handled or not. Oh my Lord. All right, Tara, jumping over to you.
Oh my. I had wanted to do hair for so long, and it was the perfect experience with everybody, and I don't even know what to say. It was also, I think, the musical that it taught me how to truly story tell in a musical. And so many people actually don't, with hair, it's easy not to tell the story. It's easy to just love and it's great and blah, blah, blah. And you guys worked so hard with us and for us and to tell the story. And I think that I brought that with me and still bring that with me to all of my work. And that's the most important part and why I do theater. And permission to play, permission to make mistakes and not be rigid, and really be where you are that day. One of my fondest memories was when gay marriage became legal that summer in June, and I got to sing I Believe in Love to my beautiful cast, and it was, I looked into everyone's eyes, specifically every single person, and it was the most euphoric, one of my most honest moments on stage, because everybody was there and we had just met this milestone, and it was incredible to experience together. So, yeah.
Oh, that's so long. Yeah. This is a special one, Shawn.
I know, it was. Wow.
So, I want to talk a little bit about, the show clearly made political statements. It was all about a protest of sorts, but the love that was behind those protests. And now here we are in 2020 in the midst of COVID with just this barrage of protesting. I know how it's making me feel, and I'm not an active participant in it, but I feel like I'm on the periphery, and because of my age, I'm afraid to go out the door. I'm a target for COVID, and I'm just like, I just want to get into a little cocoon. But if anybody wants to raise their hand, if you have any feelings, I don't know if anybody's been involved in any of the protests, or just how you're feeling supportive of how we are today. I just wish we could go back to the time, not that everything was peaceful then, but it just felt like everything came from a place of love. And now I feel like everything's coming from a place of hate, but I hope that somebody can tell me that maybe that's not true. Mary, give me some hope.
I think I have some, hopefully. I don't know. I went to a lot of protests over the summer.
Thank you. I appreciate that you do that.
Yeah. And I went to several of them with Jose, who is also in the cast, who couldn't be here tonight, who played Margaret Mead. And he and I would march together, and we actually talked about at one point how we did the protests during hair, and it felt so like we didn't have the actual experience of doing that kind of protesting, like day after day, and being exhausted but still going out with your signs and sunscreen for people around you and stuff. I will say that all of the protests I went to, every single one, the organizers had snacks, they had hand sanitizer, they had masks, they had water and Gatorade, like for everyone that was there. It was incredible. Every single one. Even like I went to some smaller protests and they did the same thing. And it's been such a wild thing to see, because obviously there is a lot of hate rampant in the world right now. And every time I've been to a protest, I've felt nothing but love. I thankfully have not been in any protests that have turned violent. I also went down for a while to the Occupy City Hall in New York City when they had set up kind of like almost a commune across from City Hall. And that was wild, because they were serving hot meals for anyone that was there, including homeless people. It's been amazing to see people that care about human life, all human life, really come together and support each other. And it's still happening in New York. So
thank you so much, Mary, because as I said, I'm losing hope here, watching the TV every night. And
Yeah, that doesn't
Hearing
help.
about this organizing and giving snacks, that sounds like a Mama D organized protest. You know, I'd be handing out the snacks. So it just warms my heart to know that there is still good out there. And I just want to make sure that love prevails in all of this, because otherwise, lose our minds. Tara, yes, honey.
Yeah, I want to echo what Mary said. Now that I'm reflecting back, I think when I led our protest in hair, I was coming from a place of anger and hate. And I know there is that, like when you're protesting, but I did go to one protest and actually the police followed us, like to support us and make sure we were safe. It was like around Brooklyn, but it was all love, exactly what Mary said. And I think I'm just reflecting on where my gut and heart were during our protests in the show. And it wasn't fully of love. And so I agree. I don't think I had the firsthand experience to know what it was really like. And we really are in a different place in the world now. And I think I would be so curious to do that show now, if you have or haven't protested, just because of what we're living and what we have to fight for now, because of there is so much hate and fake. I don't want to get into it because okay.
I mean, I think there's still a lot of reason to hope. I mean, 2015, that was the summer that Ferguson happened, right? So we were on the precipice of everything that's happening right now, I think. And I think, you know, we talked about how we could do the show. We would love to do the show again, but I think it would be a very different show because it certainly can be said that we were a cast of, you know, white privileged kids, you know, who didn't yet necessarily have the vocabulary or the understanding or the empathy, even to relate properly to the you know, Black people of color in our cast and understand what their experience was and what the story meant to them from their perspective. You know, it was easy to just sort of, you know, pretend that we were in the 60s and that this was, you know, something we were, even though we wanted to feel prescient and of the time and relevant, that it was still, you know, a callback to another time. And what we're living to see now is that the fight is still on, and if any, and that there is, because I don't think we had a sense that the movement, that the scale that we're seeing it now could happen again. And it is happening again. And I think that is great cause for hope, because it means that people aren't being complacent anymore and people aren't being apathetic anymore, and they're engaging. And I think, yeah, like I said, that's a great cause for hope.
Thank you. Colin?
Yeah, I'm so glad you brought that up, Ryan, because I was just thinking how the first time I saw Hair was in 2004, which, if you remember, was right at the beginning of the Iraq War. And they really played that up when they started the show. They set it sort of in a modern time and then like blew the curtain open and we were back in the 60s. But I was just thinking how this show is kind of a litmus test for where we are as a people and as a country and as a world. And I think that that's one of the things that makes it such a powerful show, is that it can resonate. And I think you're absolutely right that if we did it now, it would be a very different experience than 2015. And, you know, but I think that that's something that's just always struck me about how important this show is.
I agree with how important it is. And I remember critics saying that why were we doing that show, that it wasn't really relevant anymore, and who wants to see a show about that? And it is so ridiculous to think that, because I think no matter what era you do it, what time you do it, and I hope it gets done over and over again, because everyone needs to have the experience that you all had and have to understand what it is like to go through something like this.
And now it'll be really interesting if the show does get done and when it gets done again, because you have so many of these young kids that are in the show that have been protesting and going through that and can really, you know, connect to those moments.
Right.
It would be fascinating. Yeah.
Yes. So I know we're fast approaching our 8 o'clock time, but I want to get one more question out there. We're in a crazy time, I know, and theater is our love and our life, but I don't know how many of you saw the Jennifer Gardner, Dr. Fauci interview where he said that theater may not be back for another year or longer. And I'm just wondering what you're all thinking. how that makes you feel. Do you have alternate plans? Anybody can jump in. I'm just going to stay home and cry, but the rest of y'all let me know what you're going to do. What you're thinking. Because when I heard those words come out of his mouth, it was really hard to hear. Because I honestly, I trust Dr. Fauci. I think the man's brilliant, and I think he has our best interest at heart. So when he said it's going to be a while, it was tough. And, you know, trying to keep the Playhouse alive, Shawn, Tracy, and I are struggling, and we are pivoting in every possible direction, but it's never going to be what it was until this is gone. So anybody have something? Yes, Emily.
I think I've certainly battled in this time with mourning, like theater and theater that was going to happen, with the state of the world and the change that is happening. And I think right now it is a time that a lot of us are realizing things that we need to work on, that, you know, doing theater in itself is a privilege, and it is a thing that we all love more than anything else. And so I think since we're unable to do that right now, finding a way and how we can take that energy and that love that we put towards theater and putting it towards things that are tangible. And I guess these conversations, and I know people are doing like different, even live streaming, like conversations about the theater community, about where theater is heading and like how to make everything more inclusive. And I guess that's the thing that gives me hope with when everything can reopen, how can it be different? And that's really my relationship to thinking about theater right now.
Beautiful, thank you. Kelsey.
Just to piggyback on something you said, like I feel like we all have felt, I'm sure, creatively stifled. I know I certainly did, and it's like thinking of positive things that we can throw that energy into. And I've thought about you guys a lot because I started this organization with some artists out here, and we're trying to like create content to help get out the vote and help get more of our peers and more of, especially, you know, white privileged peers into volunteering for this election. And just, you know, coming into my own activism and using that like stifled creative energy towards that and towards something good. And I just thought of you guys a lot during it because, you know, we were all little activist tribes and yeah, that's helped me cope a lot, having something like that to channel this creative stifling into.
So wonderful. Yes, Ryan.
And I certainly think my experience, like my longevity, has helped me in a sense, because I'm going on, I think, almost 25 years in the business now, and I've certainly had years where there was no work and that I went without doing what I loved. And, you know, one of the early tenets I was taught was that you have to be other things besides an actor, and you have to have other ways to engage yourself and have other interests. And I'm not saying that we shouldn't be fighting for theater and recognizing artists and all that, but it's, you know, art is important, theater is important, but it's also important to do other things, you know. And I think this has given, you know, the meta way to look at this is God sort of, or whatever being or you do or don't believe in, kind of put the brakes on, right? He said, the world is going too fast, it's going at an unsustainable rate. We all need to sort of take a breath and regroup and remember what it means to be a human in this world. Remember what it means to empathize, and remember what's important, that it's not just about this fast-paced digital world that we're all living in, that we had all been swept up in. And so, you know, I think it's very important to sort of just take stock and remember that you are many things besides and more than just what you do.
I'm gonna need a minute.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, it's good. It's just, I'm absolutely in agreement with what you just said, because I know it forced me to take a step back and really engage with my family more and have time here. It also, you know, makes me miss what we had and the pace that we had and the art that we created. The fact that art is missing right now maybe is telling people how valuable it is. So I hope people get that out of this time. I just want to make sure everybody, you know, can come back and work in the way that they need to, because people have so much to give. Artists have so much to give. And at the Playhouse on Park, we have always prided ourselves on giving opportunities. And if we can't do that, it will kill us. So we need to get back to that. Yes, Colin.
The thing that I've been saying recently, and I think, I don't know that I can top what Ryan just said in terms of its sort of philosophical beauty, but is that there's opportunity in adversity. And, you know, both as a choral conductor and as a theater person and as an educator, we're, you know, all of our industries are reeling and struggling to figure out, you know, do we open? How do we stay afloat? And I think that the organizations like Playhouse, who are, you know, seeking to reinvent the experience of theater, or reinvent what performing looks like, or reinvent, you know, something about the business model, I think that those are the organizations that are going to emerge much stronger. And I think that as individuals, I mean, it's easy to say that. It's also a different matter to get up every morning and do something, you know. But I think that if we can collectively find what it is that we can bring that is something beautiful or something new in spite of the adversity, I think that that's how we will prevail over this. And like a couple of you have said, I'm never taking any of it for granted again, right? Like the first time I stood up in front of my students outdoors with masks on, and they sang like a warm-up, I was like because just the experience of making something beautiful with other humans, and you know, it's what we live for. And I you know, it's going to be the most magical thing ever when we can have that together again.
Yes. Well, I just want to say I love you all. And I know everybody is zoomed out, and I hope that we can find an audience to watch this, because season 12 at Playhouse on Park is all about hope. And that's what we've been talking about as we go forward, opening on Wednesday. And this right here, what you just gave us, is the most hopeful I've been in a long time. So I hope we have an audience, and we'll post these. And people, if you're watching, I hope you take away what I'm taking away, which is hope for the future with these beautiful people that we've had the pleasure of working with. And I'm so grateful for all of you. I hope we get the chance to work together again. Shawn, I'd like to give you a chance to say the last word to everybody.
Yeah, I just was saying that how much I deeply really appreciate all of you. And you know, it's so crazy, because I think we were so important to each other 5 years ago, and then now at this time, seeing how important we are in this conversation to each other is kind of very unexpected. And you're all really beautiful people, like just inside and out people. And it was a dream cast. It was a dream cast. And now hearing the way you're talking, and also, you know, I'm in all these training, you know, about really deep listening, and, you know, everybody's really focusing on being, you know, we've kind of brought it up, like courageous conversations, and really like deeply listening to each other, and having empathy towards each other, and hearing different points of view, and all of that, so we can kind of get away from this anger and really be open to change. And I just really, like, this is how this ran. Like, it was just so nice. You all, like, just how you are on stage and what you did during the show. It's this kind of openness to others, hearing others, and listening. It's really just a microcosm of like how we all want to be all the time. It's just really, just thank you for being here tonight, and you just sharing yourselves. It's so good to see you.
Really good to see everyone.
And can we all just send some love out into the world, because I think we need it. So thank you all. I mean, there's got to be more of us out there than the bad guys. So let's just hope that we prevail. So I love you. Have a beautiful night. Please stay in touch. And when the time comes, come back and work for us. Thank you all.
Ryan, what did you used to do? Love, right? We'd say love.
Oh yeah, everybody say love.
Love.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Thank you.